All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're unpacking a really massive shift that's happening right beneath our feet. We're talking about modern creators transitioning from this isolated manual grind into actually wielding real institutional power. We're going to break down this entirely new venture model, where you, the creator, step up to operate as the chief director of an agentic publishing house. It's a huge game changer, so let's dive in.
Here is our roadmap for the explainer. We'll start off with the modern creator's trap. Then we'll compare the casino versus the vineyard. After that, we'll introduce the Agentic Publishing House, talk about supplying metabolic capital, look at archiving the record of sweat, and finally wrap up with how you become the chief director.
Okay, Section 1, the modern creator's trap. 250,000. Just let that number sink in for a second. That staggering figure represents the overlapping active patents on a single modern smartphone. It's absolutely wild, right? And it perfectly illustrates this hostile legal thicket that's just crushing lone inventors today. If you're an independent creator trying to build something new, you're basically walking into a deeply entrenched environment that acts like a massive brick wall, literally locking you out of your own industry.
And honestly, it gets worse. Creators right now are facing what's known as the wood chipper effect. This is the brutal collateral damage relying purely on automated generation. It's what happens when these AI pattern matchers blindly grind up all your hard human effort into this foggy, unverified gunk. Your highly specific, meticulous human intent goes straight into a probabilistic blender, and your precise chain of title, yeah, it's completely destroyed in the process.
To compound all of that, extractive venture capital systems treat creators like disposable lottery tickets. I mean, instead of acting as genuine, sustainable partners, these systems just blindly throw cash at hype cycles. They completely disregard the burned-out, brilliant talent left in their wake the second the wheels stop spinning.
Which brings us to Section 2, Casino versus the Vineyard.
Take a look at the stark contrast playing out right now. On one side, you have the old liquidator VC casino, right? They're totally obsessed with fast exits, placing aggressive, high-risk bets on whatever the speculative hype of the day is. But directly opposing that is the new legitimacy VC vineyard. And think about it. You don't strip mine a vineyard for a quick payoff. No way. You meticulously cultivate it. You build compounding fundamental stability and real ecosystem growth over a full 10-year time horizon.
All right, moving on to Section 3, the Agentic Publishing House.
So, if we're leaving the casino behind, what actually replaces it? Well, the traditional venture firm evolves into what we call an agentic publishing house. It functions way less like a gambler throwing dice, and much more like, say, a 1950s stationer company that's deeply focused on clinical stewardship. It acts as a modern venture architecture lab, ensuring your undeniable truth as a creator is captured and securely locked into deterministic digital ledgers.
So how does this actually work in practice? Well, they use a brilliantly simple three-step process. First, they attract top talent using high-fidelity lore, or hypersylstation. Second, they capture all that immense value in pristine developer ledgers. We're talking specifically about ERC 7827 smart contracts that act as these unalterable digital vaults. And third, the firm steps in to execute clinical validation, practically proving the underlying math is absolutely flawless. Let's look at Section 4, Supplying Metabolic Capital. Now, to secure that flawless mathematical foundation, you need an entirely new type of fuel. The crucial light bulb moment here is that they don't just hand you a stack of cash, they supply metabolic capital. This is the massive physical engine you actually need to realize your vision at scale. We are talking about providing the literal, raw, high-performance AI computing power and server infrastructure required to run the heavy math and secure your digital ecosystem. You can really see the fundamental difference in priorities here. While the traditional VC model just writes financial checks to chase the next rapid-scale hype cycle, the Agentic Publishing House supplies raw AI compute power. This metabolic compute essentially allows the AI furnace to bake discrete units of truth, while you, the sovereign human agent, fix them into undeniable clinical reality. Next up, Section 5, Archiving the Record of Sweat. So, by reviving the historic sweat of the brow copyright doctrine as modern cryptographic evidence, this record of sweat proves that a living, breathing human pilot was undeniably at the wheel, totally overriding the automated miasma. It mathematically anchors the fact that real human metabolic energy, your physical horsepower, and intense focus were genuinely spent to execute the digital mission. You literally cannot sever the digital command from the physical calories burned to make it happen. To truly grasp the massive scale of this,
Exactly 55.5 million tokens of metabolic flux were generated in a recently verified proof of process mission. I mean, that is a literal digital monument to human intent. It proves purely mathematically that sheer computational energy and literal digital sweat were exerted out at the edges of the network to verify reality.
Finally, Section 6, Becoming the Chief Director.
Because of all this, your role in the digital economy is fundamentally changing. You are no longer just some manual originator creating from a blank page. You've evolved way past those tedious tasks. You have become the algorithmic orchestrator, managing these complex technical processes to curate profound meaning. You are stepping fully into the role of the sovereign chief director of your own publishing house.
The deterministic machine? It simply acts as the agentic cell executing the sweat. Meanwhile, you actively hold the reins of the divine script, applying your unique biological friction. It's like the AI might be the brush, handling all the tedious technical rendering, but you are undeniably the painter, providing the vital rhetorical strategy and moral intent. But to achieve this, you have to secure your own hardware substrate, execute locally, and permanently bind your human record to the machine.
So I want to leave you with a final provocative thought as we enter this agentic era. The machine is sitting there right now, blindly waiting for your command. Will you passively act as a digital tenant, just renting probabilistic guesses from the cloud and absorbing the machine's failures? Or will you actively secure your record of sweat, cross that bridge, and become the sovereign chief director of your own reality? Ultimately, who's actually going to control the physics of your digital legacy? That choice is entirely yours. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep questioning the architecture around you.